This just in from the NBA. The Memphis Grizzlies have informed impending free agent Dillon Brooks that he will not be brought back under any circumstance. That's according to The Athletic. Often colorful and brash, Brooks has been the center of many controversies, most recently for trash-talking LeBron James and hitting him in the groin during the first-round series. Brooks was fined $25,000 over the weekend for not talking to the media after the Grizzlies' 3 losses in LA. And he has had his fair share of issues on and off the court. Here's a little timeline. January 23rd, he was involved in an altercation with fans, and that was in LA. On April 20th, he called LeBron James old after a Game 2 win over the Lakers. April 30th told reporters he didn't regret making Lakers remarks. Earlier, he said that he would prefer to play the Lakers in the playoffs. May 1st, as I mentioned, fined $25,000 for missing that media obligation. Let's welcome in the coach. We got Avery Johnson with us now. Now, the Memphis Grizzlies, they've informed Dillon Brooks he will not be brought back under any circumstance. What is your reaction to that news?
I'm not really surprised. This is probably a culture shift for the Memphis Grizzlies. They're a team that did a lot of talking off the court, a lot of dancing off the court, and they got embarrassed by 40 points in a closeout game for the Los Angeles Lakers. And Dillon Brooks, some of his antics on the court with fans, the chatter, it really just didn't add up to production. And because of that, the Memphis Grizzlies are making a strategic decision that they just want to move on from him and try to bring in a different type of skill set that maybe can be a little bit more galvanizing, have the right type of attitude. I don't think Dillon Brooks' career is over. He's an NBA player. He's going to sign with another team. It only takes one team to like you out of 30 teams. But in terms of how the Memphis Grizzlies want to shift their focus, their culture, they're making the decision that they want to move from him, and he's not going to be brought back under any circumstance.
You just mentioned it takes one team. It just takes one team to give you a shot. Now, what do you think happens with Brooks now? What does that market look like? What team could you see him going to?
Well, whatever team he goes to, just don't mention that you're going to poke any bears. All right? Just talk about how you can help the team defensively. He's a much better shooter. I coached against Dillon Brooks twice when he was at Oregon, when I was coaching in college, and he was a fierce competitor. He was really focused. He didn't do much talking on the court. He could knock down shots. He was a physical player that played through contact. I think he's got to get back to that type of a Dillon Brooks, do less talking, go to a team and talk about how he can help them, even if it's not a starting role. If Dillon Brooks was a 7 or 8 man on a really good team, playing 22 minutes a game, he can really help somebody. So his career is not over. I just think during that interviewing process, when he's talking to future teams, he needs to talk about how he can help them on the court and how he's not going to be a distraction to a team, but he can be an asset, not a liability.
Maybe this is a little bit of a wake-up call for Brooks there. Now, what do the Grizzlies do to kind of supplement this loss? He is an incredibly talented player.
Well, I think, you can address it through the draft. I don't know if there's a player, wherever they're going to draft that can help them from day one. There are players, obviously, in the G League that have had experience that's just itching to have a chance. We've seen players out of the G League develop into some really nice NBA players. But I think the key is going to be signing a veteran player off of another team that maybe has had a deep run in the playoffs, maybe with one of these teams that's left in the playoffs. If there's a guy that's going to be an unrestricted free agent that you can address, but you're definitely going to need somebody that has some stripes on the wall, that's been a veteran, that's been more of a well-respected veteran, and not some young player that's unproven.
Veteran presence always welcomed in these clubs. Avery Johnson with the latest. Avery, thank you so much for your insight here as we just got the news. The Memphis Grizzlies informing impending free agent Dillon Brooks that he will not be brought back under any circumstance. And you see the timeline here, not favorable for Brooks. January 23rd, involved with that altercation with fans in LA. April 11th, saying he would prefer to play the Lakers in the playoffs. Well, that didn't age very well. April 20th, calling LeBron James old after their Game 2 win over the Lakers. And today, reportedly told he would not be brought back by Memphis.